Ever wondered why your neighborhood never spills right off the edge of the Earth? Maybe it's because the horizon stubbornly insists on being suspiciously flat. Apparently, Earth missed the memo that flat is the new black. Some say if the planet were round, you'd see a dazzling curve straight from your backyard. Reality, however, taps us on the shoulder, nicely, and whispers, humans are, well, kind of vertically challenged. At a whopping 6 feet tall, the gargantuan curve of a 25,000-mile-wide ball is about as visible as your leftover New Year's resolutions. Hint: not very. To actually catch Earth's bendiness, you'd have to soar like a pilot, scale Everest, or borrow Legolas's unblinking elven eyesight. Pilots and climbers sometimes glimpse the curve, while weather balloons and astronauts snap photos as clear as day, unless you believe NASA moonlights as a Photoshop pro. The ancient Greeks noticed ships disappear hull first over the horizon. Spoiler alert, that's not pancake physics. Bottom line, the only thing flat around here is my paycheck after vacation, and our eyeballs just aren't wired for planetary scale architecture. Despite the horizon appearing flat, skeptics claim that no authentic images exist to confirm Earth's roundness. Ever tried Googling a real photo of the entire round Earth, only to spiral into a rabbit hole questioning reality, NASA conspiracies, and maybe your internet provider's competence? You're not alone. According to internet mythologists and proud flat earthers alike, every image of Earth is either a CGI daydream or a Photoshop party. Because apparently, the space industry's main hobby is tormenting geography teachers worldwide. The whispered legend? Real, honest-to-Galileo whole Earth photos simply don't exist. Here's the scoop. The shortage of endless, crystal-clear Earth selfies isn't a grand conspiracy. It's a logistical nightmare. The easiest way to snap this cosmic group shot is to get ridiculously far away, which, surprise, surprise, only happened during a handful of Apollo missions. That iconic blue marble photo? Real humans, real cameras, taken from 29,000 kilometers out. Nowadays, we get breathtaking Earth imagery from satellites like DSCO VR, which cleverly stitch together data from multiple sensors. Stitch? Because satellites don't exactly come equipped with GoPros on selfie sticks. So next time someone insists it's all fake, ask if their GPS owes them an apology for all those scenic detours around the round Earth. Even with the absence of real pictures, some argue that gravity itself is just a theoretical concept without solid proof. Next time you drop your phone, try blaming it on just a theory. See if it bounces back. Spoiler alert, your screen still shatters, and your dignity takes a nosedive right along with it. There's a myth floating around that theory is science speak for educated wild guess, like blaming Bigfoot for missing socks. Not quite. In science, a theory is the VIP of explanations, backed by mountains of evidence, countless experiments, and zero maybe Bigfoot did it moments. Take gravity. Newton noticed apples don't boomerang back to the sky, and Einstein turned that apple into a cosmic space-time fruit salad. Gravity isn't a polite suggestion. It's why your coffee mug refuses to defy physics every Monday morning. So next time someone waves off something as just a theory, remind them that gravity, germs, and evolution are all theories too. And unless you're a cat daydreaming about zero-G acrobatics, you're stuck with them. Besides, calling gravity just a theory won't get you out of parking tickets. But it might earn some weird looks, probably from cats. If gravity were merely a theory, it raises questions about the mechanics of flight, such as why airplanes wouldn't need to constantly adjust their noses. Ever wonder if pilots are sneakily nudging their airplane's nose down every few minutes to avoid blasting off into deep space? Buckle up, gravity misconceptions ahead, and it's going to be a bumpy ride. Here's a stubborn myth that won't quit. Since Earth is round, pilots must constantly dip the plane's nose downward to follow the curve. Otherwise, logic warns, every flight would float off like a rogue balloon headed for Mars. But physics, ever the party pooper, says nope. Gravity keeps planes glued to the Earth's surface like flies on flypaper. No constant nosedives required. In truth, when planes fly straight, they're actually tracing Earth's curve. A smooth, gravity-led hug managed by gravity and savvy autopilots, not some in-flight nose-dipping workout. Honestly, if pilots had to dip the nose every mile, they'd retire as world-class bobbleheads. So next time you're cruising at 30,000 feet, relax. Gravity's got this. Pilots can save their energy for sipping coffee, not inventing aviation aerobics. While airplane adjustments are debated, others focus on how water behaves, asserting that it always finds its level, challenging the idea of a curved surface. Water supposedly has a sixth sense for flatness. Just ask any flat earther. According to the old chestnut, water always finds its level, wielded like Excalibur by those battling the idea of a round planet. But here's the catch. This phrase doesn't mean water stubbornly resists curves. It's just describing how water, ever the obedient molecule, adapts to its container. Thank gravity for that. Gravity plays no favorites. It pulls everything, from mountain lakes to sprawling oceans, straight toward Earth's core. On a globe, this means level literally bows to the planet's curve. Why do lakes and seas look flat to the naked eye? Because Earth's curvature is sneakier than a magician's sleight of hand. Spread over thousands of kilometers, it appears flat at small scale. Satellites and physics have long proved water's surface curves across vast distances. If water really despised curves, roller coasters would be bone dry and puddles would need passports. So let's dive beneath the surface and see why catchy slogans just can't hold the truth. Building on observations about water, many expect the Earth's curve to be visible from high points like Mount Everest. Strap in and snag your oxygen mask. Everest isn't quite tall enough to give you a sneak peek of Earth's curves. Countless climbers dream that, after dodging frostbite and inhaling more protein bars than a humanly reasonable amount, they'll be rewarded with a god-tier panoramic of Earth's arc. The myth sticks around because at 29,000 feet, it feels like the universe slipped you a VIP pass to the cosmos. But reality? It's about as flattering as a bathroom selfie. Even from Everest's frosty summit, the horizon stretches just around 230 miles. Your grand reveal ends up about as thrilling as scrolling a panoramic on your ancient phone. Not enough altitude to spot any curve. The only arc you'll notice is how fast your nose turns Rudolph red in the biting wind. Want that glorious glimpse of Earth's curve? Become an astronaut, or just save yourself the altitude sickness and squint out the airplane window at 35,000 feet. Peanuts not included. Everest? It's not curvy. That's just your imagination, running on dangerously low oxygen. Alongside this, some note the absence of noticeable curvature in long bridges and railways as evidence against Earth's roundness. Picture this. Engineers hunched over blueprints, sweating bullets over the Earth's curve, terrified their trains will launch off like carnival roller coaster rejects. Flat Earth fanatics like to claim that if our planet were truly round, bridges and railways would twist and curl like ribbon candy, or at least give conductors a case of vertigo. The urban legend goes that since construction crews never whip out a curvature correction kit, all this steel and concrete must be laid flat, as level as a perfectly racked billiard table. Here's the kicker. Engineers absolutely do account for Earth's subtle sphericity. Spoiler alert, they're not using Earth is flat mode on their calculators. During surveying, crews apply arc degree math, differential leveling, and a healthy dose of gravity smarts to build structures that snugly hug our planet's gentle curve. No one's expecting a gaping foot-wide chasm beneath a bridge's midpoint. The curve is so slight, only your most nitpicky friend, or a GPS-guided measuring gadget, would even bat an eye. Even the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, stretching across New York's harbor, has its towers ever so slightly farther apart at the top, by a couple of inches, thanks to Earth's curvature. So next time someone insists railways prove a flat Earth, remind them, on a truly flat planet, scenic horizons would vanish, and pizza delivery drivers would never get lost. Where's the fun in that? This skepticism extends to Antarctica, which some believe is not a continent at the bottom, but rather a giant ice wall encircling the Earth. Ever wonder if we're all trapped inside a cosmic snow globe, sealed off by some frosty perimeter? Some conspiracy buffs swear Antarctica isn't a continent, but a colossal ice wall corralling the oceans. Sorry, Game of Thrones, your wall just got out-iced. This chilly theory harks back to the days of medieval flat Earth maps and gained traction mainly thanks to the suspicious absence of South Pole vacation selfies. Try looking cute at 50°C. Instagram just isn't ready. But let's break the ice. Antarctica is actually a massive, frozen continent, not some planetary speed bump. Explorers have trekked across its vast interior. No edges in sight, just a lot of teeth chattering. The Antarctic Treaty puts the kibosh on territorial claims, but the penguins? They're free to hold jazz hands parades whenever they want. If there were an edge, GPS and satellites would have picked up on it. No tourists disappearing, just icebergs taking detours. And if Antarctica truly is an ice wall, where are the warning signs? Spoiler alert! No peek-over-the-edge cruises, just penguins and a serious risk of turning into popsicles. Maybe the ice wall theory was dreamed up by someone just looking for a cooler way to debate global warming. In the same vein, there is the belief that celestial bodies like the sun and moon move above the Earth like spotlights, rather than orbiting it. Imagine celestial disco balls lighting up the greatest show on Earth. Welcome to the cosmic dance floor, where every evening is a stellar soiree. Ancient folks weren't much different. They pictured the sun and moon as spotlights gliding above a flat stage, illuminating humanity's one-act play. Listen to flat Earth enthusiasts, and you'll see God perched in the rafters, script in hand, calling, "Cue the moon," as the sun takes its final bow. In their version, our radiant duo hover just a few thousand miles above, like celebrity DJs stealthily avoiding the crowd. But here's the spotlight-stealing truth. The sun is a staggering 93 million miles away. Imagine the extension cords, while the moon keeps its classy distance at 238,000 miles. Sunlight isn't a flashlight sweeping over a pancake Earth. It spreads evenly, gifting us day and night thanks to Earth's roundness and rotation. Outside of high school dramas, spotlights don't cause sunsets. Real science takes the stage. A heliocentric system with planets strutting their orbits, and the moon's phase is courtesy of sunlight, not a dead battery. And eclipses? The spotlight theory crumbles faster than a flimsy stage prop. Next up, how geometry and a dash of trigonometry light up these tall tales even brighter. Furthermore, proponents argue that all airline flight paths make more sense if the Earth is flat, rather than a globe. Ever stared at your in-flight tracker and wondered if the pilots are auditioning for a cosmic game of connect the dots on your sanity? Flat Earth memes thrive on this chaos, insisting airlines plot straight lines that suspiciously make sense if our planet were a giant cosmic pancake. But those spaghetti-like squiggles? They're less conspiracy, more cartographic chaos. Blame the Mercator map, the globe-flattening classroom classic that warps sensible routes into Arctic pretzels, especially near the poles. In reality, savvy pilots navigate great circle routes, the shortest path around a sphere, not a pancake. These look bonkers on flat maps, but it's good old navigation science calling the shots, not a cabin revolt. Next time your San Francisco to Tokyo flight does a U-turn near Alaska, try yelling, "Just go straight!" Watch the crew ignore you and physics chuckle with a clipboard in hand. Plus, those zigzagging flight paths have legit reasons: weather, headwinds, fuel efficiency, bathroom line logistics, and the occasional international turf war. If Earth were truly flat, pilots would be out of excuses for all that snack cart turbulence. On top of flight path logic, star constellations are claimed to remain the same everywhere, contradicting spherical Earth models. Ever tried to impress someone with Orion's belt, only to watch it pull a vanishing act in the southern hemisphere? It's like standing there, laser pointer poised, and poof! Your cosmic bling has RSVP'd to a whole different party. People treat constellations like Wi-Fi hotspots. Global coverage? No problem. Sailors once bet their lives, and occasionally their hairlines, on those steady star patterns to navigate the seas. But the universe? It's got jokes. Earth isn't flat. Sit down, conspiracy theorists. So your stellar lineup depends on where you're standing. Cross the equator, and northern favorites like the Big Dipper ghost you harder than an ex at a high school reunion. Meanwhile, gems like the Southern Cross are exclusive to the Southern Hemisphere VIP lounge. And don't get me started on seasonal shifts. Constellations have a flair for the dramatic, swapping in and out thanks to Earth's orbit. Want to see them all? Better start racking up those frequent flyer miles, stargazing passports sold separately. At least stargazing gives us a better reason to travel than just dodging awkward family dinners. Similarly, it's argued that ships disappearing over the horizon is a matter of perspective, not a sign of curvature. Ever watched a ship sink hull first beyond the horizon and wondered if it's just a quirky trick of human vision? Maybe you've heard the classic claim, ships don't vanish because Earth is round. They're just victims of perspective, like our eyeballs are running a slow-motion Photoshop fade out. According to some flat Earth enthusiasts, that's why the hull disappears first. Perspective's greatest party trick. If that were true, the Titanic would still be out there somewhere, playing endless games of celestial hide-and-seek with our collective dignity. But let's take a closer look. Sure, perspective shrinks distant objects, but it doesn't make their bottoms vanish first, while their tops awkwardly hover like lost socks. That'd be like losing your sunglasses one lens at a time. On a round Earth, the hull disappears first because the planet's curve physically blocks it. Use binoculars or a telescope, and you'll see the ship further, until even the tallest mast dips below the horizon, thanks to Earth's stubborn curvature. Drones and airplanes back this up. If perspective were the culprit, mountains and skyscrapers would start ghosting themselves from the bottom up. But nope, they stay stubbornly grounded. Now, who else pulls these disappearing acts in nature? Spoiler alert, it's not your average geometry class. This perspective extends into technology, with some asserting GPS systems wouldn't function properly if Earth were truly spherical. Ever wondered if your GPS moonlights as a flat earther? Picture it whispering, "Don't trust those globeheads." Some flat Earth enthusiasts insist GPS can't possibly work on a spinning ball, because satellites, they say, are about as real as unicorns in tuxedos. According to this theory, every location you get is actually triangulated by secret towers popping up like techno-mushrooms across the land. But here's the kicker. Real GPS relies on satellites. Dozens of them, gracefully orbiting our delightfully round planet. Never colliding, just quietly introverting far above Earth's rowdy parties. These satellites beam timed signals down. Your phone catches a few, and using good old round Earth math, figures out exactly where you are. If towers did the trick, try crossing a forest, desert, or the open sea. You'd end up with directions to Narnia instead of Nebraska. Plane trips would turn into epic treasure hunts where no one ever wins. Yet, miraculously, GPS works flawlessly everywhere. So next time your GPS chirps, turn right. Give a nod to the satellites. Turns out reality makes the best map. Building on concerns about navigation, there's the idea that planes would have to avoid flying off Earth's edge if it weren't round. Imagine pilots nervously scanning their maps, sweating bullets over running out of runway. And worse, running off the planet's edge. Picture clammy palms as they approach this mythical cliff, while passengers peer out the windows, bracing for the dreaded announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare for our final descent into the void. Flat earthers insist there's an edge, a cosmic cliff where daredevil birds and careless planes take their final plunge. Some flat earth charts even feature a daunting icy barrier, thanks, Antarctica. But official navigational maps, sorry, don't come stamped with a bold, "Here be abyss" warning. If planes really could overshoot and nosedive into oblivion, airlines would be cashing in, selling edge seating for thrill junkies or tacking on plummet insurance to your ticket. Instead, science crashes the party. Earth's a globe, so planes glide smoothly over a curved surface, dealing only with turbulence, peanuts, and the occasional mid-flight existential crisis. No death-defying roller coaster routes, no pilot unions demanding edge hazard pay. If flat earthers had a point, where's the viral footage of a Boeing disappearing into the great unknown? All we get are complaints about legroom, definitely less dramatic. Along this line of thought, the claim is made that no one has ever circumnavigated the Earth from north to south. Challenging globe theories. What do you get when you mix fearless explorers with impenetrable ice? Not a thrill-packed new cruise route, but the world's most anticlimactic roller coaster, a never-completed north-to-south circumnavigation. Sure, globetrotters zip around the equator like it's just another Sunday jog. Yawn. But nobody's actually pulled off a true polar-to-polar world tour. Why? Because continents are the ultimate buzzkills, planting the Arctic and Antarctic, giant frozen no-entry signs, right across your path. Polar bears and penguins haven't exactly teamed up to launch a hospitality chain at either pole. How rude. Instead, you get lethal cold, shifting sea ice, and zero Instagram-worthy snack stops. Every hopeful adventurer ends up improvising. Pivot, detour, backtrack, the whole chaotic dance. Even GPS throws up its hands if you try to beeline straight down from the North Pole. So forget neat, unbroken records. Successful trips look more like zigzags at a toddler's art exhibit than clean, vertical lines. Around the world in 80 days remains way more believable than top-to-bottom trots. Sorry, Jules Verne. All these points culminate in the belief held by some that Earth must be flat, with science itself being part of a grand conspiracy. What if NASA's greatest achievement wasn't Apollo 11, but actually turning Earth into a giant pancake? Flat Earth conspiracy theorists claim science is just one big, syrup-soaked hoax, and our planet's roundness is flimsier than a deflated soufflé. Allegedly, scientists, teachers, pilots, and globe makers gather in smoke-filled rooms, elbow each other knowingly, and plot to keep the world's true shape under wraps. It's the world's most poorly kept secret, right up there with Grandma's special recipe that everyone finds on Pinterest. But here's the real topping. Gravity doesn't give a flying flapjack about conspiracies. Planets clump into spheres because physics demands it. Try spinning pizza dough into a disk, and you'll end up with some crusty edges, but nature prefers balls. Airline navigation, satellite imagery, and even time zones only make sense if Earth is a globe. Pilots aren't flying upside down just for laughs. The global science village isn't some secret society with hidden handshakes. It thrives on skepticism. Scientists gleefully debunk wild theories, from psychic spoon-bending to birds aren't real, and love tearing bad ideas to shreds. Science follows the evidence. When it turns, the consensus turns with it. The only thing flat earthers should fear? Running out of pizza, to use as a model.